I was talking with a client the other day and they were saying about sending an email to a customer and including the attachment in the email. Now, Knack doesn't natively allow you to add it as an attachment, but you can put it in the email as a link. So for instance here, this is the client's email address, which is obviously mine, and there is a PDF file here called Terms of Business. So if I was to open that inside Knack, that will open in a viewer, and that's what the document looks like. But what I want to do is send that to this email address. So I have an action link button here, which if I click that, I'll just get a pop-up saying that it's been sent. And then if I jump into that email account here, I receive the email and I put dear customer name, please find attached the terms of business. And this is the link. So when I hover over, I can click on that and that will open in a new browser tab and then show the PDF. From here, obviously, depending on the browser, I'm using Microsoft Edge, but you can print this up here and save and download and that sort of stuff. So I'll show you how to do this. It's a very simple operation, but as you'll see from the email, it's not actually an attachment. It's simply a clickable link. But I'll jump in and show you how this is done. So first of all, just looking at the object, it's a client object. I only have one client. The client name is myself. It's the email address and a file field. The file field is just set up standard. It's not a required field. And then there's a date time field for capturing when it was sent. So on this, it's set to UK date format with no default date, with a 24-hour military time format and no default time. And what we'll do is when the button's pushed, we will capture the date and time that that event happened. So if I go over into the pages section, so click on to the client's page. So this is the page, and I've added a action link to send the terms of business. So if I click on the table, to do that, simply click on add columns on the left hand side, actions, and then trigger an action. And this has given me a new button here, so I'm just going to drag that over next to the one I've already created. Click on here. You can either click on the pencil icon to edit this, or you can click on the column heading. It brings you, opens up the palette on the left hand side. So I won't delete this one that says send TOB, terms of business here, but just to show you how this action link works. So the header where it says trigger an action is the title. So if I just change that to send, you'll see it updates live in the preview here. So it now just says send, and the link itself says action at the moment. That's because it's coming from this #1 action link. So if I wanted to say send TOB, then that will update and shown here. Beneath this, the link text, just need to add an action, and on this one you can send a custom email. And what I want to do is send a custom email to an email field, and that's the actual email address from this table. And then I selected a subject and I put my message in. So I'm just going to delete this one, and I'll click on the one I've already created to show you. So the header says send TOB, the link text is TOB, the first action says the name of the action is terms of business. It's coming from an email address and sending it to the customer's email address. And then in the subject, I've put the client name in here inside the curly brackets, and that's a variable. So if I just delete this, you can click on here for all your variables from the table. So you'll see here when it was added by, and here's the client name. So I'm just going to cut that out, put that at the beginning, and then just put a dash or a hyphen. Just going to make sure there's no leading zeros, which are leading spaces, which there is there. So I'm just going to delete that blank space. And then it's the same in the body of the email. I put dear client name, please find attached terms of business. And if I just delete this, and I'll show you again. So click on the option for the fields here, and I just come down, you can see the address, the email, telephone number, and this is the file field. Obviously denoted by the icon here. That's the terms of business one. So I'm just going to put that in, and that's will send the email when you click on the button. I've also got a second action as part of that one button push, which updates this record. You remember on the previous one you can do various things, update, insert, etc. This one is just updating this one, and it's updating the terms of business sent date, which was the date time field. It's updating that to the current date time. And then overall, the display message will come up of TOB has been sent. That's the little pop-up card in the top right hand corner. That's the message it will display once those actions have happened. And then a bit further down, I've just set this column width to a custom width of 50. Now, the column width is much wider than 50. The words here, send TOB, is wider than 50 pixels. But if I find that if I constrain it to 50, Knack will try to fit it as close as it can and make it that column as thin as possible based on the column heading. And then I centerize it, and then I've added some style to the button, so you can click on this toggle here to open up the custom design settings. So if I just come back down and toggle that back open again, so I've gone for a fill with the text being small, and this is the text color is white, and I'm just using a default color link, but I could put a custom color in here as well. You can see now this has changed to gray, but I could change that to another color like this kind of greeny yellow, but I'm just going to keep it with the default color link, which is blue, and save that. So back to my live app, just do a refresh. Okay, so now the browser's refreshed. We've got the email address here. This is our action link button. There's no terms of business sent date, so I'm going to click on the button. That will run. We got the pop-up card here to say that the TOB has been sent. Those two action rules would have run in the background. You can see here that the terms of business has been populated for today's date and time of when that was pushed. And then if I check my email, I get the email here, I can open that up, and it says dear, and this is the variable Carl Holmes, and then it's put the variable in for the PDF, and this is obviously a clickable link which will now open up in a separate browser tab. Depending on your browser, I'm using Microsoft Edge. You can obviously then print or download and save this as required. So I hope you found that of use, using action links to send a file to a customer in an email. Look forward to catching up with you on the next one.